Man, I just love a frog that when you walk it, it spits, 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 spits. Even on a really long cast, I could see this water spraying and spraying, and that's one of the biggest things I look for in a frog. This Megabass Big Gabot here, it's got a huge cup in the face of it, and every time I walk it, it'll spit 3 or 4 inches of water, and big bass love that. If you have a frog that moves a lot of water in its spot, but doesn't move out of the strike zone, that's a really good frog. So one of the biggest things you could do as an angler, as a frog fisherman, is make really long casts. You don't want to disturb these shallow grassy flats with a trolling motor. These big fish have been around, and just walk it out real nice and neat. There's a big one. Yep. Oh, we smoked that big Gabot. Oh, come on. Oh, yep. Yeah. Oh, he crushed that big Gabot. That was so much fun. Look at that thing, hooked perfectly. I cast it in there, nice little open patch, popped it 3 times. Walk, 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 smoke. Look at that hook point. You see the distance between the hook point itself and where the bend starts? That's almost 3/4 of an inch long. It's almost like a spear. So when that fish bites it, you just need a 50–60% hook set, and that spear goes right in the roof of its mouth. Absolutely smoked that frog. That was awesome. Nice fish. That was awesome. See you, bud. You know, what makes one spot or one area better than the next when you're fishing a frog? And you know, on an area that's just a big grass flat, grass everywhere, everything looks the same, you look for little points. So if I'm looking down the bank here, I know that this water willow sticks out and creates a point, just a point in the grass. And even further down, 100 yards down, there's a main point. It's a bend in the channel and just a main grass point that sticks out, that water willow. I'm gonna spend extra time on those points. Always look for something different. If it's a long row of grass and there's a hole in the grass, spend extra time on that hole, because big bass relate to pieces of cover that are different. Got him. Oh, that's another good one. That one I had to pause just for a second. That's fun. 2 feet of water. Tell you what, man, that big Gabot and that custom hook gets them. I mean, that is not coming off. I mean, that is not coming off. Again, just kind of picking spots, picking my holes out there, make accurate casts. That's why that 7.5 foot Destroyer Valdivia delivers those real long casts. And with this kind of softer tip, softer action, you could start walking it right away. It pivots on that back weight, spits water, and they come up and they crush it. That's a lot of fun. I'll tell you, one of the big topwater myths is, oh, they only bite topwater early and late, you know, low light conditions. Some of the biggest frogfish, some of the biggest big Gabot fish I've caught, especially here recently, middle of the day, 12:30, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, the sun is beating down. You know, when you mix a little bit of current and some shade, there's nowhere else for those big ones to go but to those nice little shade pockets when it's, you know, 90 to 100 degrees out. So they eat a frog all day long if you put it where they live. There's a good one. Oh no, he's a little, but a fun one. Absolutely smoked it. 3 chugs with that big Gabot, and he smoked it. I could already tell you right now that that hook is going nowhere. But look at the hook design. This is a custom hook in this big Gabot, but the distance between that bend that's in his nose and the hook point is a good 1/2 inch plus long. So when that fish bites it and you set the hook, there's all that straight point that penetrates the fish's mouth, and that sucker is not coming off. So just a small one, just a 2-pound fish, but after 2 pops right next to that water willow, he absolutely smoked it. That hook design, that fish was not coming off. That was a fun one.